All right, folks, Yishai Fleischer here, broadcasting with the help of God from my studios here in beautiful Hebron, Israel, the heart of Judea. Nick Fuentes, complex character. On the one hand, an anti-Semite, a misogynist, a racist, a white supremacist. On the other hand, a guy with a smart, sophisticated mind. Certainly when it comes to the Jews, he seems to have reached all the wrong conclusions, but at least he's got a sense of Jewish history and Jewish thinking and Jewish power, Jewish strength. He doesn't understand that it's a force of good, and he doesn't understand that it comes from God. He thinks that everything is demonic. He's released a new video, which I think is fascinating. Let's go through it and have a little debate, okay, an Israel debate with Nick Fuentes.
I'm going to tell you the next big conceit. The Jews are extremely clever. Do not underestimate the Jews. This is what they do. This is what they have done for generations, and they have written the playbook on it. So you think we got them all figured out?
Now, see, this is where it starts to be the mental problem that Nick Fuentes has. He thinks that the Jews, this Jewish conspiracy, is all powerful, very strong, and that we've survived through the ages. And he's going to say we're lawyers and all these things. What he doesn't understand is that there's no way that the Jewish people could have survived for 3,500 years just on our smarts alone. Far from it. The only way that we were able to survive is not by our smarts, but by God's will. He helped us he wanted us to build 2 commonwealths here, 2 temples. Then he dispersed us because we displeased him. And now he's ingathering us because of a promise that he made to the forefathers and the mothers and all the prophets. And so the idea that the Jew is this all-powerful force and he's got it all figured out, which is what Fuentes posits in this video, it's haughty. It's as though he's putting haughtiness on us, as though we, with our smarts, the Jewish people, were able to do all this. He doesn't give room for God and his mission.
You think we're going to go on Twitter and say, hey, you did 9/11 and 6 million didn't die. We have all our talking points about your hypocrisy. And
that's your talking points? Your talking points is that we did 9/11, not Saudi Al-Qaeda terrorists. We did 9/11. We destroyed the city, New York, that we helped build. No, see, that's not. Oh, there weren't 6 million people, Jews murdered in the Holocaust. Hitler wasn't a mass murderer. Like, these are your smart talking points. This is when I start to lose respect for Fuentes, because as a thinker, remember, I am able to respect somebody even if I hate them or don't like them. But when somebody's speaking with dumb conspiracy theories, I lose a little bit of respect.
About how you got kicked out of 109 countries. And you think the Jews, who have been lawyers and conjurers and media moguls and middlemen for...
What's a conjurer? What are we, magicians or something? You see what I'm talking about? It's comic bookish, right? And also this point that Jews were kicked out of 109 countries. Is that a mark of shame on us? Or is it a mark of shame on the world that rejected the refugees from the land of Israel, the Jewish people, who really brought blessings to every place? Like, am I supposed to feel like, oh my God, yeah, we were kicked out of 109 countries and I should really feel bad about that? I never counted, by the way, these 109 countries. I don't know if that's true or not, but we were evicted from, I don't know, Spain and Portugal and England and those kind of places. And that's a mark of shame on them. And a lot of times they will even admit that sick anti-Semitism, which destroys the host country, not the Jews, is what caused, and these like conspiracy theories, what we used to call witch hunts, which is what he's on. He's on a witch hunt. We should feel bad about that. There's something wrong with us. And here's another question. If we're all powerful, how is it that we get kicked out of 109 countries, right? I guess we're not so powerful. I guess that Fuentes wants it both ways. It's like, we're all powerful boogeymen, and then we're also kicked out of countries. So we're therefore, that's proven that we're evil, meaning to say he wants it at both ends. We're very powerful and we're susceptible to anti-Semitism. And if you think about it, it really doesn't comport together. It doesn't make sense together. The Jewish people are not all powerful. God is all powerful, and that's why he's returning the Jewish people to the land of Israel. But Nick is not actually a religious person in that sense at all.
Thousands of years, empowered by the devil. Realistic.
We survived for thousands of years empowered by the devil? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Why don't you read your Bible? The Jewish people are not empowered by the devil. We're empowered by God.
You think they will not have any response? You think they're going to take all this in stride and say, we got outsmarted by Jake Shields? These thousands of years building up this edifice of lies, it all came crumbling down because some retard kept spamming the same tweet. I think Hitler was right. I think it wasn't 6 billion. Tower 7, what happened there? You think they're going to take that laying down? Oh, shucks. I guess we got foiled again. Absolutely not. The Jews are extremely sophisticated. They will outlast us, they will outsmart us, and they will come up with a new conceit. And by the way,
So we will outlast you, but not because we're smarter than you. We will outlast you because God wills it, and because he's got a plan and a dream and a chance for the Gentile countries to be part of it, to protect their Jews and to support the rebirth of Israel. You know, that's what God really wants. He wants people like Nick Fuentes to laud the rebirth of Jerusalem and the building of the third temple, which people like him should be going to in the end. Like it says, a house of prayer for all nations. So I don't quite understand, where this kind of haughtiness comes from. Yes, we will outlast you. That is a historical fact. But you can actually be, instead of being pushed into the sidelines of history in a forgotten empire, the way that you avert that is by blessing the Jews, is by being part of the story. It's really by blessing God. You don't have to like me per se. You have to like God's mission. You want to have a blessing. Bless Abraham's mission. Don't hate God's mission. That's the way that countries and nations like the United States can thrive, is by being part of the great story. And that is what Christian Zionism is about. It's about realization that they want to be part of the great story and not to stand against it. And they had to therefore tweak their faith system in order to comport with God's will. And Nick Fuentes is not doing that. He's hating on the Jews, going against God. And you might not realize this from his words, but he is indeed forcibly shrinking the United States.
They already have. It's Michael Millerman. It's Joe Lonsdale. It's Sean McGuire. For everybody that has eyes to see and ears to hear, you know what I'm talking about and you've seen it. They're rebranding it. They know they're never going to get everybody to be pro-Israel again. That ship has sailed. They're never going to get everybody to be dispensationalist Christians worshiping Israel. Those that bless shall be blessed. Never going back.
I have to say that sadly that's true, right? The love of Israel has been eroded because of anti-Semitism, like we're hearing right now, and because of failures of Israel to tell its story properly. But again, notice this: if we're so all powerful, how is it that we lost the favor of so many people? Right? I guess the Jewish people are not as all powerful as Nick Fuentes, says on the one hand. Here he says, that genie's never going back in the bottle. Pro-Israelism to some extent is dead. That's sadly true. Maybe there'll be a resurgence of pro-Israelism. It's happened before, but I agree that right now it's in bad shape. But it's because of people like you. But just notice that within the same phrases, he can talk about us being all powerful, and then the next phrase be like, you see, they're in a lot of trouble.
So they're changing tactics, and they're trying something new. And what they are doing is they are starting to conflate the word civilization and the West with the Judeo-Christian narrative. They say it's Christians and Jews, the United States and Israel as civilization versus the barbarism of the communists and the Muslims.
Well, that does make a lot of sense to me. Doesn't that make sense to you? Like, don't you see the truth in that? Don't you see that there is a godless slavery mentality in communism and in jihadism? Jihadism, by the way, is not a religious mentality, right? It's not a faithful mentality to God because it really doesn't seek faith. It seeks obedience. It seeks people to be forcibly following the dictates of Islam, right? So therefore, it's not really the kind of faith that we think that, and the West and America thinks is important, which is by choice, choosing God, loving God. Do I think that Israel stands against jihadism and communism, godless communism? Yes. Do I think that the United States is actually part of that civilizational building, life, freedom, liberty, faith, family? Do I think that America is part of that story? It has been for the last 250 years. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. I think that makes perfect sense. Look at his face, by the way. He looks like the goblin from Spider-Man. There's such a like a goblin-esque thing. I think he does it on purpose. I think he lives inside of a comic book and he doesn't see the beauty and the majesty that has developed through America and Israel and America. You know, one of my dear friends, Zev Ornstein, said something to me that's so profound. He said to me, it's not that Israel is the bastion of American democracy in the Middle East. It's that America is the bastion of Jerusalem in the West, and that they're the emissary of the ideals of Jerusalem. And I thought that was so profound. And what's Nick Fuentes saying? That what? Communism is okay and jihadism is okay, but Israel's the problem? Like, what's the logic here? I don't understand what he's really trying to say. Like, what is what you think you should partner up with China or with Islamic jihadism and not partner up with Israel? You don't see the civilizational relationship? It doesn't make sense to me. I just don't understand him.
This is their new line. It's everywhere. If you're paying attention, it's everywhere. This is Joe Lonsdale's line. Joe Lonsdale from Founders Fund, PayPal Mafia, Cicero Institute. Jew? This is Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller, White House Deputy Chief of Staff, who says we're pro-civilization, pro-Iran war, pro-mass deportations. Jew? Randy Fine, you know that when we're grading congressmen, America First Foundation is creating a scorecard for every congressman currently seated in the past two sessions. You know that when we graded Randy Fine, he ranked A+ on immigration, but F on foreign policy? Randy Fine, too, will say, mass deportations, no Muslims in America, build the wall, no dual citizens. But then he'll support the war in Iran and the genocide in Gaza.
Okay, so two things. Number one, when Nick Fuentes starts talking about the genocide in Gaza, he really even loses me on an intellectual basis. I can hear a lot of stuff that's anti-Israel, but at least be like, that's smart. But are you really going to pull the genocide in Gaza bullcrap? Are you really going to now sell everybody Palestinian lies and say, no, there's really a genocide in Gaza? Please. We all know there's no genocide in Gaza. You know why? Because there isn't a genocide in Gaza. Okay, there's no genocide in Gaza. There was a war in Gaza, but there's still millions of people there. Nobody's genociding them, for God's sakes. It's just so simple, so obvious. I don't even want to, go through the facts because it's just so stupid. Okay? And then I don't understand. What is the problem with the Iran war? Yes, deport jihadists, hold on to your borders, and push back on the jihadists who want to nuke America and Israel. Why is that complex to you, Nick Fuentes? How do you not see the relationship between that? How do you put that, yes, but this, like not this, but this? Like, how do you not want both border control, fighting jihadism in Texas and in places that it's taken over? I don't know, Maine, Vermont, etc., Michigan, and then not see that the war in Iran, the Iranians are the funders of so much of that jihadism. How do you distinguish between those two things? The war in Iran is one of the best things that America has done in the last 20 years. It's fighting against the enemies of the United States who are working day and night to dismantle, yes, the civilization that Israel stands for and America stands for, maybe a few other countries. Yes, these people are anti our civilization. How do you not see that? How do you not see that, smart Nick Fuentes? Like, where are you at? Is it much more that you just want to see the destruction of Israel? Is it that the anti-Semitism drives you, and that you don't see the importance of this war against those that would wish to destroy America and work actively to do it? How do you not see that? Confusing to me.
This is the conceit. Sean Maguire, this may be the most telling thing of all. Sean Maguire, who is a partner at Sequoia Capital, a venture capital firm in Silicon Valley, and they invest, it's this long tail investing in a lot of tech defense companies, almost all of them in El Segundo and Silicon Valley. It's either Sequoia or it's Andreessen Horowitz, few others. Sean Maguire, who has an Israeli wife and kids, he went on Twitter and said, "My fellow Jews," he said, "stop talking about Israel." He said, "because Americans don't care about Israel anymore." He said, "start talking about Western civilization instead." He said, "because we can couch our pro-Israel advocacy between the lines of a pro-Western civilization message, a pro-civilization message. If we talk about America and talk about the West, we can shoehorn in Israel in a way where people either be indifferent to it, at least they won't oppose it."
Okay, so I still didn't understand the problem. Like, where is that not true? It's not true? It's not true? We don't have a civilizational battle against jihadism and Chinese communism? I don't understand. Isn't it correct? And I want to add one more thing, which is everybody that he lists there, they're all American Jews. And I think that he wants to uncover the pro-Israelism of American Jews and be like, look, they're using our America to defend Israel. But what about a commentator like myself? Why not use a commentator like myself who comes and wants to put his life on the line to build up the Jewish state and have a relationship with the United States as an ally? Like, what he doesn't, his whole thing, I think, is a type of xenophobia where he senses that there's these people with another agenda and it's like he's allergic to it. Okay, I can somehow understand where that comes from. Why not be like, forget Ben Shapiro, forget Josh Hammer, forget those good folks. Instead, focus on people like myself who actually have a message from an Israel being reborn in our time and an alliance that we have with the West. Why not talk about that? I'm a much better candidate in that sense because you won't feel anything from me that I'm trying to use the levers of power of America and being conniving and tricky, which is how he really perceives the Jews as. He perceives the Jews as this like conniving, tricky power, the word conceit, whatever that means. It's all like this like secret elders of Zion type thing. He doesn't like the usage of America from within. Okay, I can maybe at least understand where you're coming from. Why not look at Netanyahu or myself or whoever it is, or I don't know, Conricus saying, listen, we have a strong country. We're pushing back on jihadism. We're fighting America's war. Look at people like Pete Hegseth. They see it that way. Look at Rubio. He sees it that way.
It was here that the lessons that form the base rock and the foundations of our laws, of the principles upon which we decide what is right and what is wrong, was built upon. If you think about the things that today we in civilized societies used as rules to govern us, these things did not come because good people wrote them. They came because they were rooted in ancient teachings that found its genesis here, not just in the city, but literally on the very spot on which we stand. It's an interesting thing about humanity. Almost anywhere in the world you go, and there are some incredible archaeological sites around the planet, I believe none as important as this one.
It's not a conceit. It's a battle. It's a war out there. Do you really want to lose the war to jihadism? Do you really want to see jihad take over, I don't know, New York City? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Because when you're fighting against the Jews, you're basically weakening the Jews of New York City. And who are you replacing it with? Mamdani. So what's your problem? Like, what was it for? Is this America first? Look at the hat that he has, America first. Yeah, right. You might as well just put on jihad first on that hat.
Michael Millerman, another Claremont Jew, did a big video about the new pro-civilization movement. Same story. Joel Pollack at Breitbart, same story. Josh Hammer, who wrote his book about this, and he is a huge Hasbara agent, maybe one of the preeminent ones. Same story. They're all running the same playbook. And here's my point, is we have to always adapt to survive. The old pro-Israel thing is destroyed.
Adapt to survive? Is that what you're giving your people, Nick Fuentes, a survival technique? I see that you're bringing them down. You're teaching anti-Semitism. You hate Israel. You're bringing in the jihad. You don't like the war in Iran. So you're adapting to what? To a kind of white supremacism. But is that going to be a blessing for your country? Is that going to build your country? No, it's going to tear it down. I don't see, like, you lay out certain things, but you don't lay out the problem in those things. And you don't lay out how, by fighting the Jews and catching them in their claim that there's a civilizational battle, you're somehow doing good for your people. All you're doing is you're kind of like exposing something that is out in the open. Nobody's denying that. I don't deny that. There's a civilizational battle. I don't deny that. So what exactly are you exposing? And what are you exactly adapting to? And to what end? To what end? What is the success that you think that you're bringing your viewers? I don't think you're bringing any success. I don't think you mean America first. I think you want to shrink America. I think you're an America shrinker. I have noticed this, like in some psychological way, he wants to shrink Israel. He also wants to shrink America. In favor of what? Are you like a Chinese agent? Are you like a jihadi agent? You're just like a smart guy spouting off. But what's the vision that you're giving your people? There's no vision there. There's only a vision of hate.
Are inoculated against it. We found the cure. We have the antibodies.
You're an antibody? You, Nick Fuentes, are an antibody? I don't think so. I think you're the disease.
A Jew starts to say, those that bless shall be blessed. We all know the answer to that one. A Jew says, the liberty, we have the answer to that one. But they change the script. And they're pushing that out there in a very coordinated way among the pro-Trump cadre, among the Claremont Institute shills. All these Teal-funded projects, Little Tech-funded projects, they all contain this poison pill.
What's poisonous about being pro-Israel? Can somebody explain that to me? What's poisonous about allying with a successful country, an economic powerhouse, a military powerhouse that pushes back on jihadism? What's poisonous about lining up with Jerusalem? Unless you want to replace Jerusalem. That's really what this is about, isn't it? What Nick Fuentes is about is replacement theology 101. He wants to defeat Jerusalem because he's jealous. He's small. He's jealous. He's got issues. He's issuey inside. And he certainly notices all this conversation. This supposedly once conservative person, he's got no God in him. There's only a kind of, mind that exposes, but really reveals what everybody sees. And yet what he's not exposing is who is he leaving the doors open for? The other side. Is there a civilizational alignment? Yes, there is a civilizational alignment. Is Israel just West? No, Israel's also Middle East and East in some ways. It has other alliances with India, etc. Is Israel a emissary, a bastion of America? No, it's not. Do we have an alliance of shared values, shared history, shared future? Potentially, people like Nick Fuentes are erasing that. And there's no God here. There's no Bible. There's no promises. There's only a jealousy, a smallness, a kind of it's like he's like imagine somebody like taking a computer apart, being like, you see, there's wires here. You see, there's chips, and that's the way it works. And then leaving the whole thing open and bare with no casing. It's like, so what? You're revealing the inner workings of the world. You're revealing how good works. And for what? You're just leaving it exposed to viruses and to sickness. Anti-Semitism is indeed such a virus. This is not America first. This is America shrunk by Nick Fuentes.
I promise you, they will outflank us with the next generation if we don't keep refining our
Keep
ideas.
refining your ideas, buddy. You think Israel's going to die because you're going to keep refining your ideas? You think that Israel is gone because you're going to refine your ideas? Listen to yourself. You think you're going to outsmart God? You're going to outsmart the mission? You're not going to do it. You're going to refine the ideas, and you're going to kick out all the Jews. And so what? And so what? And so what's going to be of America? You think Israel's going to go down because Nick Fuentes and his white supremacist folks are going to uncover the support for Israel? No. You're within your own words that you said you're not going to, the Jews are going to be smart and they're going to outflank us, which is really God. Like, that's the truth. You're not going to defeat the Jews. You're not. You're just not. You're just not, because you won't, because history won't let you. Providence won't let you. You'll just be an annoying anti-Semite. You're going to grow old, and then you're going to be forgotten and put in the dustbin of history with the other haters. And if Hitler couldn't do it, who was a very talented bloke, okay, he couldn't do it. Certainly Nick Fuentes, with his sharp but messed up mind, is not going to do it either.
Get a little bit smarter here. Have to get a little bit smarter. What do we have to say when Stephen Miller says, hey, I'm in favor of mass deportations, but I support the war in Iran because we're choking off China, and if America wants to win, we need to fight China? You need a better answer than, oh, well, Jews were kicked out of 109 countries. It doesn't work.
All your answers don't work, including the shameful fact that you just noted that Jews were kicked out of countries and that's what you want to do, essentially. There's nothing there but shame. There's no success. Did those countries exactly go on to be flourishing great countries after they kicked out the Jews? Were they blessed? Did they do really well after they kicked out the Jews? Show me one country. Show me one country that did incredibly better once they kicked out their Jews. Show me one country, and I want it in economic history. Show it to me with graphs, that the minute they kicked out the Jews, they were blessed and things went much better for them. Show me one. You won't find one, because it's exactly the opposite. And that's what Nick Fuentes wants to do. He wants to kick out the Jews, open the door to Iran, China, whatever it is, jihad. And do you think America's going to be blessed, America first, with the Nick Fuentes models of smartness, of his understanding the conceit, of him being smart and figuring it out? You're not that smart, Nick. You're not that smart, and your conclusions are dumb.
You see? So I would say that previous battle is over. Now a new battle is starting. There is, believe it or not, a new battle, and that old version, that old iteration of Shapiro-style pro-Israel advocacy, it has been routed, but it has been succeeded by a refined, more sophisticated form of the virus. And that's why we need to get to work, to continue the metaphor and develop the antibodies to protect against that. And that means a positive message, a refined and positive and more sophisticated message that can answer the new challenges posed by this intellectual.
Okay, so that was Nick Fuentes trying very much to root out the virus. And my question to you is at the end here, which is, who's the virus? Israel's the virus, or Nick Fuentes is the virus? Anti-Semitism is the virus, or pro-Israelism is the virus? Which one is it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. You know my opinion. I think Israel is the answer. Israel's the solution. Israel's the blessing. Jerusalem is the solution. I think that anti-Semitism is a virus, but it's a virus that's like Ebola. It eats itself. At the end, the anti-Semites destroy themselves. They eat themselves, and like Hitler, they kind of commit suicide and burn their bodies and lose it. Just lose it. Israel is in a great rebirth, and you could be part of it, or you could try to stop it. You could try to come up with a new conceit to stop our conceit. But it really isn't us. It really isn't us. It's really God. It's his play. It's his story. It's his moment. It's his city. It's the city the name of the city is the name of God, Yerushalayim, Jerusalem. And you can be on the right side of history or on the wrong side of history. You can cleave to the blessing of Israel or the virus of anti-Semitism and Nick Fuentes. Folks, I want you to be part of the rebirth. Help me and help my team keep broadcasting from Hebron and from the heartland of the Holy Land. buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. You can find us on the internet at yishai.tv. You can find us on YouTube at Yishai Fleischer TV. And most importantly, is together, we're going to build Israel. Yes, we will. We will build it, and it will not stop. It's not a conceit. There's no tricks. I got nothing up my sleeves. There's no tricks here. It's honest. It's plain. It's simple. It's in front of you. It's revealed. It's a gift. It's revelation as a gift to mankind. We're going to build it together. You're going to build it. I'm going to build it. God's going to build it. We're going to do it together. Please join me at buildisrael.com. All right, folks, I want to send you blessings from the land of blessings. And we only do these videos in order to help you be inoculated from the virus of hate. God bless you wherever you are. Lots of love, lots of blessings from the land of blessings, lots of heart from the heartland of the Holy Land, and shalom.